NBA 2K17. After over 3,600 hours played in my career, my park, and Pro-Am, what can I say about this game, other than what a damn disappointment. The game that started last September as a good online experience, ended last Friday with me gladly deleting it from my hard drive, never to play it again. There are many reasons for my disdain for NBA 2K17, so let's just jump right into it. To begin with, let's talk first about the issues in my career. While the cutscenes and storyline were slightly more enjoyable to go through this year than in 2K16, the loading screens were annoying as hell. The reason why was that the loading screens in my career got longer and longer the more games you played at one time. So let's say you played 5 games in a row without exiting the whole game. By the time you finished the 5th game, the loading screen to get back to your my court would be so long that you had to exit the entire game, just to get back to your my court in the shortest amount of time possible. This was also the case if you played a large amount of park games at one time and then tried to load back into your my court. The my player grind was long enough as it was, and the long loading screens just made it even longer. Another issue in my career was Denver.
Where are you from?
Seattle.
Denver from
Yes,
Seattle.
from Seattle. Good one. Like everyone has said that one already.
This dude was annoying as hell. I mean, so were the other people that entered your my court without permission, again and again. But Denver, man, that dude was so fucking annoying. I never thought I'd play a game that had a side character more fucking annoying than Roman from Grand Theft Auto 4.
Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling.
Denver enters your my court whenever he pleases, blows up your phone damn near every day trying to play with you, pause. And if you say no, he asks the same thing even more often than before, sometimes more than once a day, until you eventually say yes. And then, if that wasn't annoying enough, he even asks your player if he wants to go get some candy with him. Okay, pause. First of all, what grown-ass man asks another grown-ass man does he wanna go grab some fucking candy? Second of all, that right there sounds like some shit that I want my player to be no part of. That shit right there sounds suspect as fuck. I'm just saying. With Denver, I just wished my player had the ability to tell him to leave me the fuck alone. Matter of fact, when it came to all contacts in my career, I wished 2K had put a do not disturb button on my phone, and put an option to lock the doors of my court so I could practice by myself, not with the whole damn team. Moving along, let's talk about how there was no autosave function in your my player inventory, how you had to enter in and out of the store just to save inventory changes, and how every time you entered the store, the first thing that was highlighted was the fucking buy VC button. So not only did we have to enter the store to save changes, we had to look at a clickable ad for VC every damn time. I may be nitpicking here, but so what? This was a really shady ass tactic 2K pulled in an attempt to lure people into buying VC. And speaking of VC, let's move on and talk about my park, the cesspool of unbridled fuckery that just kept on giving. From using purchasable park cards and boosts, to using exploits to gain an edge and win games on the 1's courts and the 2's courts, my park had so much cheese in it I'm surprised it was not sponsored by. Oh. Okay. I guess they were. I wasn't expecting that. Transition wipe OJ, transition wipe. Hurry the fuck. The thing about my park was that it became less about winning with skill, and more about speed boosting, spamming the steal button, and embracing a pay-to-win environment by acquiring VC, to win with VC. One way to do so was to use VC to buy park cards that gave my players temporary boosts to certain attributes, or gave them the ability to become hot and gain their grand badge instantaneously. Now, while using these cards did not guarantee a win for those using them, in a game where the majority of my players were stuck with having average to below average defensive attributes, park cards did provide a reasonable advantage when activated. Not only that, it was irritating as hell seeing people activating card after card like it was hell. I remember playing one game a while back and seeing people activating so many fucking cards I thought Exodia would appear from out of nowhere and start wrecking shit. But, you know what, as bad as park cards were, there was something in my park that was worse. Self-proclaimed dribble gods. People who had playmakers or point forwards and dribble, step back, crossover behind the back, step back behind the back, step back behind the back, crossover, pass the ball with 2 seconds left even though you was open for 22 seconds, shot clock violation. People who were doing so many damn combos it sounded like they were out there playing Killer Instinct.
Super combo! Awesome combo! Hyper combo! Counterbreaker! Counterbreaker! Killer combo! Humiliation! Ultra combo!
Now, before you guys come for my head, let me make it clear that I'm not talking about every playmaker or point forward, cause there actually were some good ones out there. No, instead I'm talking about the people who did all them combo breakers, just to get ripped. The people who dribbled to break ankles, but couldn't even break broken glass. The people who didn't want screens, but couldn't get past their man without them. The people who didn't make their team better, except for when the ball wasn't in their hands. Those kind of playmakers and point forwards are trash. Matter of fact, they are such a cancer to a team, that toward the end of 2K17, when I was playing Park, and I was streaking on the 2s or 3s, I started walking off the court every time that kind of player tried to get on my team. No matter the streak, I walked off the court without hesitation. I didn't give a single fuck. Now hold on, before anyone who plays like that gets triggered, listen, I'm not knocking you if you think you have the best handles on 2K, that's fine, break all the ankles you want. However, if you're breaking ankles and not getting your teammates involved in the game, and catching L's because of it, you are trash. Do I really need to say more than that? You are trash. Period. And the same thing applies to people who have to use park cards to win games. If you gotta use park cards just to win a game, you have no right to trash talk after the game like you're any good. And before y'all say, well, park cards are a part of the game OJ. Let me just say this. While it's a valid point that park cards are a part of 2K17, and you have a choice to use them or not, it still doesn't negate the fact that it hurts the integrity of the game. You don't see people in real life playing blacktop, or players in an NBA game, activating cards to get instantly hot, or to break ankles. Park cards shouldn't have been in the game in the first place, they just gave 2K another way to lure people into spending and possibly buying VC. But you know what, I digress. Let me move on, and talk about the mode that I have a love-hate relationship with, Pro-Am. If I had to describe Pro-Am in just 2 words, those 2 words would have to be, inconsistent enjoyment. The thing about 2K17's Pro-Am mode is that the effectiveness of certain archetypes were greatly diminished in this mode, at least from my perspective. I found that athletic finishers, glass cleaners, sharpshooters, and playmakers were the only archetypes besides lockdowns and paint protectors that had consistent success in Pro-Am, no matter the team around them. Now that's not to say that people using post scorers, slashers, and shot creators couldn't have good performances in Pro-Am too, cause they could, but they had to play a certain way and with a certain kind of team to do so. Slashers couldn't just finish a dunk or lay up on anybody, shot creators couldn't just pull up on anybody, or make leaning jump shots consistently. And post scorers couldn't consistently make shots 10 feet from the basket using post moves, no matter how open they are. Believe me, I know from experience using a post scorer in Pro-Am. While you can take almost any archetype into the park and do your thing, Pro-Am forces you to really think about which archetype you want to go in there with, and penalizes you if you try to go 1-on-5. Now while I love that Pro-Am is a you win as a team kind of mode, sometimes the randoms that you get stuck with make you wish that these archetypes weren't so fucking limited. In closing, before transitioning to the NBA 2K18 part of this two-part video, my final thoughts on NBA 2K17 is this. With the implementation of the new archetype system, NBA 2K17, at least the My Player portion of the game, felt like a fucking beta for 2K18. The idea of the archetype system looked good on paper last August, but the execution of it fell flat on its ass. Not only were the archetypes limiting on what they allowed your player to be good at, every archetype, excluding lockdown defenders and paint protectors, came with the caveat that your defensive attributes would be mediocre at best, which is silly when you consider the fact that not all NBA players are one-dimensional. LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, to name a few, are all two-way players, meaning they play great offense and great defense, not one or the other. So, having said that, nobody bought 2K17 thinking to themselves, man, I can't wait to make me a my player that can only play defense like Tony Allen. I can't wait to make a player that can only shoot threes like Kyle Korver. I can't wait to make a player that can only grab rebounds and nothing else. I can't wait, man, I can't wait. Nobody bought 2K17 saying shit like that. Nobody bought 2K17 wanting to spend hours, days, weeks, grinding out my players, getting Hall of Fame badges, grand badges, attributes, getting them to 95, 97, 99, just to play and feel like 80 overall in Park and Pro-Am. But that was what we had to deal with thanks to a flawed archetype system that was constantly tinkered with, either through patches or daily tuning updates. Shit was ridiculous. And when I say I hated this game, that's not a joke, I really hated this damn game. NBA 2K17 was as fun as having a doctor put their fingers in your ass, and having them tell you to cough. Playing 2K17 was a lot like playing Call of Duty. You play the game, drop some people off, win a few games, and then at some point, you start flipping your shit cause a whole lot of bullshit ensued. And then you have to buy a new controller cause while in the midst of flipping your shit, you decided to throw your controller at the wall and turn it into puzzle pieces. So why did I play the game so much if I didn't like playing it? Well, that's simple really. I love the concept of creating my players, building them up, and then taking them online to drop some people off. Yes, this kind of thing is in other games like 2K16 and Live 16, so I could have just played those games, but 2K17 was the current shit that the majority of people were playing, so I played it too. No shame in that fact, it was what it was. The good news now is that NBA 2K18 is officially out now. and with it comes a new opportunity for the devs to get the archetype system right, and to fix the many issues the previous game had. From what I have played so far, 2K18 looks promising, despite some concerns that I have about the game, which I'll talk in greater detail about in part 2 of this video mini-series. So with that said, I'll end this video here. I really hope that those watching enjoyed this video and will watch part 2 when it's uploaded. If you did like the video, be sure to rate, comment, share, and subscribe for more NBA 2K content. And until next time, this is UnCommonVision saying.